Okay, we're all set. First of all, welcome to Mexico. Did you expect it to have so many fans over here that wanted to have your photos, your autographs, everything?
No, it's bonkers. People met us off the plane, people met us outside the hotel. I don't know how they found out where we were, but they did. It was amazing, yeah, cool, really nice.
It is really nice. Everyone's super sweet. There's just met a girl downstairs who's got like a wicked leather blazer on, and she's done the whole like Wolf Alice diamond diamante on the back, and it looks,
Wow.
yeah, it's really nice.
So nice to meet the hardcore fans all the time.
Yeah. No.
Well, guys, let's talk about the new album. I have many questions about the album now and also about the history of the band, of course. But the clearing draws many aesthetic and sound elements from the 1970s, and at the same time, to me, I already had the chance to listen to it. It feels very familiar and warm. Some of the songs from Blue Weekend feels kind of like it. For example, Lipstick on the Glass took me back to. It took me back to that song in particular, the newer one. So, first of all, how did you get involved in this 1970s vibe? What inspired you to take this step?
I think we got quite inspired by the songwriting process, like the actual we were inspired by how a new approach of making songs a little bit. And I think we wanted to just like strip things back, and we sat in a room with a bunch of guitars and kind of stared at each other and we're like, how do we make the best song without any bells and whistles or kind of like turning the computer on, and which is what we've defaulted to doing many times before. And I think when you've got an acoustic guitar and you've got just a few constituent parts, the melody, the chords, and in Ellie and Joel's case, they kind of do really, they explore how their voices work together in harmony in a lovely way. And those things kind of are really prevalent in some of the artists that we admire from those eras. Like, if you listen to the Carpenters or Fleetwood Mac and stuff like that. But then even solo artists, I realised this the other day, that because we were writing on these acoustic guitars, I started listening to like Jim Croce and Townes Van Zandt and Labi Siffre and stuff. And I think it just kind of like, we were inspired by the idea of doing less in the studio. Obviously they had less in those eras, and it was kind of like a bit of a circular thing. And then I think the image probably is an extension of that. And also, that is the golden era, really. Well, there's so many golden eras for musical aesthetic in their own way, but there is something about the aesthetic of a band in that period of time, and that kind of is built out of that. I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, I do agree that the 70s are like this golden era, because then the 80s were all flashy, all color, all exaggerated.
Yeah, I mean, like fashion changed forever because they had punk, which is like...
Well, it was a reaction against it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All of the stuff about the 80s was about, exploring, oh God, just, limitless stuff, isn't it? You went from like the band into freaking, oh my God, what's his name? Tappy, 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 all that kind of guitar
Steve
thing.
Vai.
Van Halen.
Van Halen, all that kind of rock. Do you know what I mean? Where they pushed that rock to the absolute extreme of technical stuff about what, but there was a lot of soul in the 70s, I think.
Yeah, there was,
Yeah. It was, it was about the song,
Totally. Well, you mentioned something very interesting that I do want to ask you, because you mentioned how everything is connected to the approach of the creative process. And what I find amazing of your music is how each album is so different, that you may have these punk guitars like Play the Greatest Hits, for example, or scenes like Don't Delete the Kisses. I do want to know that as an artist, has it been difficult to experiment with such different styles all the time, while also thinking about how your fans are going to react with every change and experiment?
No, it's a joy, it's a joy to be able to do different things every time. But I think we would just get bored if we were trying to make a song that had the same sounds and the same kind of tones and use the same, palette. That's what's great about Wolf Alice. You go into a session and you just literally have no idea what kind of thing you're going to be working on, which is brilliant. And it keeps things fresh and it keeps things exciting, and, we surprise each other, and that's what kind of being creative is about, right? It's not like finding your formula and then just doing it until, everyone's sighing.
Totally. Well, and as I mentioned, I already had the chance to listen to the album, and I have two favorite songs from it, and I do want to know the story behind them. The first one, I really love White Horses. I think it's such a great song. Can you tell me more about that one?
It's a shame Joel's not here
Yeah.
to talk about it, really. Well, that one started off, that kind of Joel wrote a kind of verse and the kind of chorus. I think there are a couple of chords in this kind of driving dancey beat, and he was talking about wanting to do something in that kind of vein that had a bit of like rhythm, kind of a bit of a dancey thing going on through it. And it was pretty electronic, wasn't it? It had some acoustic instruments, but it was pretty like modern electronica kind of thing, and then we kind of brought it into our world, and we wrote some extra passages on top of it and kind of did the Wolf Alice treatment. Yeah, it's a beautiful song. It's really, you know, I love hearing Joel kind of take centre stage for a moment. It's really, really cool. He's got a really unique voice, and he's such a talented dude. He really is. It's great to see kind of, you know, him step out into the limelight. Yeah, it was really fun to record. You know, big driving beat the whole way through.
Yeah.
You know, me and Greg had a great time. All the kind of odd sounds that you hear throughout the record, like that aren't just normal instruments, are kind of guitar pedal noises, and we spent a kind of half a day just literally making strange noises using ebows and fiddling around with. He's got tons and tons of guitar pedals. So yeah, it was great. It was great fun. It's a cool tune. I really like it. It kind of feels. It's properly emotional, that one. Yeah.
I felt the same way,
Yeah,
actually. And the other song that I like is actually the latest single, which is The Sofa. I think it's a brilliant choice for a single. I believe it's going to be very massive for you. So if you can tell me more about that song.
The Sofa kind of came later in terms of where the songs started to reveal themselves, and there was probably a chance it wasn't going to be on the album almost, because it was the last song we recorded.
Yeah.
And we nearly didn't have enough time. And I mean, lyrically, it's just like, I feel like Ellis is such an astute observation of what it's like to be a person. That song, like, for me, when I listen to those lyrics, just that kind of like thing of like, I need to do everything and kind of seize the day and grab the world, and then also, fucking hell, I need to just sit on the sofa sometimes. And it's really, like, when I read the lyrics the other day, it popped up on Twitter, and it was just like, the text. I was like, Els, you're so funny. Like the way that song. But in terms of the recording, I remember there was like one of them studio moments that you get blessed with, and it was, well, for me, it was when Greg was going to town on the instrumental kind of string section with Ellie at the end. Like, those two were kind of working on that, and the song kind of had this strange, like, it closes the album, The Sofa. And it had this kind of like waving goodbye feeling, like this kind of like signing off of what we've been doing. And we were so close to finishing the session, and it had taken quite a long time, this album, and it was really a lovely moment. And yeah, I like that. The songs, people seem to like it. So.
Did you record the whole album together all the time, or in separate sessions?
We started off doing it very separately, and then scrapped everything, and then set up as a band. And we basically, most songs would then, once we found our groove, would kind of start with us playing it together in the live room, you know, finalising the structure and stuff, and, you know, the last kind of the bits in that world. And then usually you and Joel would kind of do a take, right? And then sometimes I would play with them if it needs, sometimes Ellie would play. And we'd try and get it sounding live. And yeah, previous albums, we, you know, it would take a long time to get a lot of these kind of core takes, but you and Joel kind of nailed them pretty quick this time.
Yeah, it's live. I think it's live than any other album overall.
Yeah, massively. Yeah.
In terms of the sessions, we're all there all the time, even if we're recording separately. It's kind of, we're never, no one's ever too far. Someone's probably lingering in the kitchen. Or something.
Okay, yeah, I believe it's great that you recorded it that way, because it captures a more honest feeling of that 70s own atmosphere that the whole album is. Now, I want to go back many years in the past of the band, because yes, this is the first time you came here to Mexico, so there's many stories that many fans from here may want to listen for the first time. And well, your debut album is 10 years old right now. And from that album, from that tour particularly, you recorded a documentary which was on the road. And I do want to know your experience about that documentary, and if you would ever like to repeat that experience again.
It was weird, wasn't it?
It was like a really,
I don't think we were ready to do something like that. Looking back,
but also like it's a really cool concept. The idea was there was a fictional narrative set with the backdrop of a real tour, so there's this kind of like documentary, I suppose, happening in the background, and in the foreground is a fictitious love story.
two
Really?
crew members.
Yeah, between two crew members, which was a really interesting concept. But I think maybe it fell short of that, and it became more just a bit of an exploration of just us being on tour. And to an extent, his intention was to show the kind of Groundhog Day, like the monotony of how things are similar on tour. But I think to make a good version of that, we probably should have. You would have to give a bit more behind the scenes about. Like, I think we were a bit guarded because there was cameras everywhere, and also we were like 24, 25 on tour, and you don't really want to always be being filmed. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd ever do that specific thing again. But it was a. You know, it's a really lovely thing to have a really high fidelity shot, like not high fidelity, but this document, this timestamp of us then. And what it was like, so it's a nice thing to have, but it was weird. It was really weird.
I think if you're a really big Wolf Alice fan, you'll enjoy it.
If
you're not, I'm not sure how much you
might be bored.
Yeah,
I'm in Wolf Alice, so I was quite bored. So.
Awesome. For my last question, a few years ago, you were also part of the Love on Tour of Harry Styles. And that's something that I find interesting, because the fans of these huge pop stars are very intense, and they're practically only going to the show for them. So I do want to know your experience dealing with that kind of fans, that kind of new people that never heard of Wolf Alice before, and if maybe you get positive reactions or new fans.
You know what? It's the opposite. Like, they were the best. It was the best support tour we've done ever.
Yeah.
They were
Really?
the most receptive audience we've ever had. It was just amazing. It was honestly one of the most bizarre and beautiful cultural experiences and things I've been involved with. It was just fantastic. Yeah, and the audience just gave. I think the audience didn't really know us at all, really, but they gave us so much kind of love, and it was really, really special. Because I know what you mean. Like, I think I went on the tour started going on the tour thinking, oh God, I don't know about this. Being a bit like Indian and going, oh. But it was fantastic. You know, we had like at one point in somewhere in Germany, it was at Hamburg. We had like a football stadium worth of people. Like, you know, waving their hands up in the air for Delicious Thing, a song that I know they all didn't know.
Yeah.
But it was brilliant.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, I totally agree. And also, like, it was Harry's managed to create an incredible environment to go and watch music, and a really positive one as well for people, and also for people to learn about other bands. Like, it's not, fanaticism is an interesting thing, isn't it? It's like, that's like what you were saying. People tend to just be there for them, but he created an environment of discovery, and people seem to now we're showing up at places and they're like, we found out about you through that. And I think sometimes support tours kind of, you do them and it just dissipates, and it was just another experience. But that was really meaningful for our career. It was really meaningful to watch. And I sound like I'm blowing smoke now, but it was fucking fun.
Good for Harry.
Yeah, good for him.
Good on him, man. He's good at it.
Well, guys, I do want to ask you for one last small favor.
Mm-hmm.
If you could please invite all the people that is watching this interview in Pólvora. If you want me to spell it, I will. And inviting them to listen to the new album, The Clearing. Obviously, this interview is going to be released nearest the release date, so I will appreciate it.
What? So
It's Pólvora.
You get it.
Is it what is Pólvora? Pólvora is the
It's a website, and it's for the people who's watching this video right now on the website.
so.
Cool. So, hi, we're Wolf Alice. Please watch our interview on Pólvora about our new album.
Inviting them to listen to the album.
Oh, on the website.
No, well, everywhere.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to say.
So hello. This is Wolf Alice. You're watching Pólvora.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah,
got it.
Yeah, you do it.
You got it.
Hey, we're Wolf Alice. You're watching Pólvora. Come listen to our new record, The Clearing. It's out now.
Excellent. We got it
I
on
don't know why
one
I
take.
couldn't figure that out. I was like,
It's the jet lag.
do you know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck's going on?